everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about something I'm sure you're all already aware about, and that is the Legend of Zelda live action movie. If you're a Zelda fan like me, I'm sure you've had some mixed reactions, just as I did for the announcement. For context, for those who are new here, I'm a massive Zelda fan. I've been playing Zelda games for over 20 years now, and at one point I was obsessed with anything Zelda. When I say obsessed, I did go through and buy all the games. I have almost all the consoles to play them on, and on top of that, I've dressed up as Zelda characters. I own figures of Zelda characters, so yeah, that just gives a little bit of context. Being the fan that I am, I've had heavy mixed reactions to this announcement, so I took it here to YouTube to see if I could share what I think will happen with the movie, what's going to happen in the movie, how I feel on the idea of the movie, and overall just the idea of a live action Zelda movie. Real fast though, if you're new here and you see yourself coming back or you do end up enjoying the video, please do like the video and subscribe. That would really help me out. I make all kinds of different video content, majority of it being funny gaming videos with my friends, but I do have other content that may be more suited to you as well. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope to hear how you guys felt about the movie announcement as well. So let's go ahead and start off with the mention of a movie. It makes sense that Zelda is getting a movie finally. When it comes to the big games, especially those that are for families, the big honorable three are going to be Mario, Sonic, and Zelda. Sonic has had 2 live action movies which did extremely well, and the Mario movie, which is an animated movie, came out recently and has had raving reviews also. It was only a matter of time before a Zelda movie came out, considering that the other big 2 already had movies out and the movies are thriving. I'm happy to hear that us Zelda fans are receiving some love with the movie. We get a Zelda movie, which makes us happy, while Nintendo hopefully lines their pockets with another well-made movie. It's a win-win for both sides. At first, I was blindly happy that Zelda was getting a movie, but after the initial announcement, I had noticed the words live action trailed behind it. This is something of concern for me, and why, I'm sure you may ask. Well, I'm sure that's of no surprise on why live action is something to be concerned about. I'm sure most everyone, if not everyone who is a Zelda fan, would have preferred an animated movie rather than a live action. Animation has the ability to convey a lot more emotion, such as characters, the abilities that they have, the atmosphere. Just compared to a live action, it just can't compete. The Mario movie is a good example of using animation correctly. If the Mario movie was in live action, I, without a doubt, do believe that it would have failed miserably. I'm sure you can agree with that. The reason why it would have failed is because there's just some things you cannot convey in a live action. This leads into the Sonic movie, which is a live action. The Sonic games were a bit more easy to convert because the game itself already takes place in a city/developed area type atmosphere, whereas the Mario movie was more of an animated atmosphere, and you can't just replicate that. With the exception of a few Sonic games, almost all of the Sonic games were in a developed area, which made it a little bit more easier to convert just by taking out the cartoonish landscape. It wasn't too much of a drastic change for those who were already Sonic fans. It was more easy to digest the movie as a live action because it was already set up to be converted that way. They managed to pull off the Sonic movie excellently because there was already tons of real life elements that they can easily convert into a movie. Though there was CGI in the movie, it was not drowned heavily in it, which made for a nice balanced movie between realism and CGI. Now there's the Zelda movie. The Zelda series has been presented in multiple ways. There's cartoonish styles, realistic styles, anime styles, pixelated styles, and so on. There's multiple canvases to possibly convert from for a live action. A concern for me though is how much CGI is going to be forced into this movie, and if there is a lot of CGI, can it be converted seamlessly? Because that is going to be a big issue. See, the Zelda games are already full of real life elements, and most of these are going to be easy to convert in terms of the atmosphere, the grass, the clothes, weather, etc. However, there's tons, and I mean tons of things that I can't imagine being pulled off without using tons of CGI. Real life filming sites are going to be hard to match up with the Zelda items, such as the castles, the cities, areas such as the Zora's Domain, Death Mountain, etc. Not to mention, if the movie has any of the monsters or boss fights in them, it's going to be drowned in CGI. Recreating people like the Zoras and the Gorons are also going to be hard to do without some kind of effort from CGI. I will say it is doable, but it's going to have to be presented effectively for it to not feel funky. This leads into my next concern, which is the actors and the voices. Throughout the Zelda series, Link's always been the silent hero, and yeah, when I say silent, we only hear him talk, or I mean scream, when he falls off a cliff or gets hurt. That is majority of the part from what we hear from him. He does talk to other characters, but not in a manner to where you can hear or see what he says. There is lore as to why he doesn't talk at all or hardly, but that's besides the point. The last time Nintendo tried putting in a voice for Link, they kind of made Link into a whiny douchebag.
Hey! Excuse me, princess. Excuse me, princess. Well, excuse me, princess. Hey! Excuse me, princess. Well, excuse me. Excuse me, princess.
And I really don't want to see that happen again. It's just not Link's character and it doesn't fit him that well. I can't see them not giving Link a voice in this movie, but that is definitely an assumption. Either way, I don't think it will be presented well without him having the ability to talk. I could be wrong though. They may be able to pull it off without him talking. I just can't see that happening. Besides the talking, there's also the actors. Zelda fans are going to be really picky about who plays who, and there's a big reason why. Sending in a big Hollywood star who knows nothing in the Zelda series and its lore is going to be extremely disappointing and even possibly painfully cringe if not conveyed correctly. For me personally, I'm not too concerned on who plays who, just as long as the ages, look, and characters are portrayed correctly. I can see the actor of Link being played by a less known or unknown actor, if I had to be honest. There's a limited selection available of those who are well-known actors that fit the role that can play Link. Zelda is going to be much easier as well as Ganon to cast because there's many ways to interpret them, from looks all the way to age on Ganon's behalf. This leads me into the next point, the actual theme of the movie. Now, this part is simply speculation, so there isn't a guarantee part. There is absolutely no reasoning besides just my personal thoughts on what I believe is going to take place in the movie. So take this as you will. You know, eventually when they release more trailers and stuff like that, I will dive deeper into what I think is going to happen. But for now, this is what my speculation is going to be. There are multiple ways to do a Zelda movie, either A, recreating a game, starting a new narrative, or maybe even shadowing a foreseeable game in the future in a movie. Personally, for me, one of the best-selling games is going to be Ocarina of Time. Though it's not my favorite, it is a staple game in the Legend of Zelda community. Using the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time as a base for a movie would be a safe thing to do. Reason being, A, is because it is the most popular game for Zelda fans. B, it is also a good narrative, a good introductory story for those who are new to Zelda or want to get into Zelda. It is something that Nintendo has recreated a few times. They love the game, people love the game, and it overall is just highly favored. Granted, the Zelda series has tons and tons and tons of good different games to choose from, but for me, I really do think they were going to try to recreate Ocarina of Time just because it would be the most simplest, easiest, and safest option. There is a high possibility in the back of my mind too that they will try to recreate Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom or both. However, since it is a movie, it is going to be more focused on the story, and I do believe there is lack thereof, and it also kind of throws you into the Zelda series, whereas the Ocarina of Time would have been a more introductory story into the Zelda series. I do think that there is a possibility of them making a whole brand new narrative, doing a whole different story, making it just like the games, where this may be another version of Link and Zelda we have never met before, and this is telling their story in a movie. That could also lead to them possibly making a game based off the movie. That is something that is possible, but I don't think it's going to happen just because it is not a safe, guaranteed for those who are going to be new Zelda fans or those who are getting introduced into the Zelda series. So far, those are my speculations. I really do think they're going to go with something like Ocarina of Time and recreate it to a degree, but like I said, that is something that is going to be up in the air until they release more information. I will say if they do try to make a movie based on Ocarina of Time, I can't see them putting in all the temples, putting in all of the monsters, etc., little details like that. So I do wonder how they're going to pull it off. Maybe just giving this simple basic story. Link starts out as a kid, princess, ocarina, you know, 7 sages, now they're in the future, etc., etc. I do think they're going to give basic details, but I don't think it's going to get too in-depth. If they do make the movie with basic details like that, as long as they can convey the story and it does well, I do think it will introduce a lot of new Zelda fans, and it may even boost the sales of Ocarina of Time again. Getting more Zelda fans introduced will leave it more likely to open up to more Zelda movies in the future. That kind of leads into another point here. The Sonic movie did really well, so they made a Sonic movie too. The Mario movie is doing really well and has done really well, and to the point that they have already introduced a possible sequel to the Mario movie. That leads into the Zelda movie. They may make the Zelda movie with a new narrative and possibly add on an ending that leaves room for a Legend of Zelda 2 movie. So there are a few different options here. It is all basically speculation. I would love to hear what you guys think on the possibility of the movie, what's going to take place in the movie. But yeah, I'm not against a live action. I do have some worries about a live action because as a Zelda fan, I really want the Zelda series to do well, and I really want people to get more into the series because it is such a good series. For me personally, I would really like to see them add in some dark lore into the movie, kind of like how Twilight Princess has the dark scenes or Majora's Mask. Will they do that? I'm not sure, since it is going to probably be a family-based movie. However, I really do hope they throw in some Easter eggs for us Zelda fans while being able to introduce the story to those who are going to be new to the story. Other than that though, please do like and subscribe once again if you end up enjoying the video, and yeah, I will plan on making more Zelda content in the future. So if you do like content like this, I hope you enjoy, and then yeah, check out my other content. A lot of funny gaming stuff, a lot of different things. By the way, we are close to 300 subscribers. I am trying to hit 300 by the end of the year, so please do subscribe, help me out with that number, and I'll see you guys next time.